Shall we start?
Құрметті әріптестер, бүгінгі кезекті инфосессияда көргеніме қуаныштымын. Бүгін біздер TUM International компаниясының өкілдерімен танысатын боламыз. Алдында ескертілгендей, бүгінгі кездесу ағылшын тілінде жүреді. Сессияны бастамас бұрын шағын кіріспе менен болсын сіздерге. TUM International ол Европадағы жетекші оқу орындарының бірі саналатын Мюнхен техникалық университетінің еншілес құрылымы болып табылады. Жалпы бұл компания халықаралық білім беру жобаларды әзірлеу, оны іске асыру, инновациялық экожүйелер қалыптастыру, сондай-ақ технологиялық кәсіпкерлікті қолдау салаларында маманданған. Жалпы бүгінгі кездесу тек қана TUM International компаниясымен таныстырып қана қою үшін ұйымдастырылып отырған жоқ. Сонымен қатар сіздер бұл компаниямен қалай серіктесу арқылы жұмыс жасай алатындарыңыз, қандай мүмкіндіктер бар екенін біле аласыздар. Сондықтан белсенді болуларыңызды сұраймыз. Біздің әріптестеріміздің сұранысы бойынша камераларыңызды қосып отырсаңыздар. Сұрақты қазақ тілі, орыс тілінде де қоя аласыздар. Мүмкіндігінше сұрақтарыңызды аударып беретін боламыз. Ары қарай мен сөз кезегін әріптесім Омирбеков Темірланға берем. Сіздерді жаңағы спикерлермен таныстырып, сессиямызды бастайтын боламыз. Темірлан.
Hello everyone. Thank you for joining the session today, and thank you for turning your cameras on. Today we have please welcome our guest speakers from TUM International, Georgita, Head of Strategy and Development at TUM International, and Karen Not, Project Manager and also co-founder of startup, I believe. So please be attentive, be engaging. Let's use this opportunity to engage in a meaningful conversation and to explore opportunities in which universities in Kazakhstan can collaborate with TUM International. And without further ado, I give the speaking rights to Georgita.
Thank you, Tamerlan. Thank you all colleagues from Science Fund from organizing this meeting. Welcome to all of you. It's a pleasure seeing you here, and we very much look forward to engaging with you in a deeper conversation today, and to also getting to know each of you and your organizations today. So we will start with a short introduction on our end, telling you a few words about who we are, TUM International, and also the university we are representing, the Technical University of Munich. And we will tell you a few words about what makes TUM what it is known for in excellence in education, research, and entrepreneurship. And we know all of you here are interested in particularly how to commercialize and basically how to organize commercialization and technology transfer at universities. So we will also tell you a few words about how we go about it at TUM, and also what we find to be good practices in this space. Feel free to ask any questions you have. That's why we are here. We want to understand also where you are with these processes in your own institutions. So do raise any questions you have. We are also very happy to continue our discussions afterwards. So happy to stay in touch, and please reach out to us later on as well with any questions or opportunities for collaboration in any of the areas we will be talking about today. We know that time is limited, but we would also perhaps, if you, whoever is open to saying their name and institutions they represent, please go ahead before we kick off the presentation. So a short introduction, name, institution or university you're representing. That's helpful for us to kind of map you on our mind, given that we are in an online setting as well. Anyone wants to start? If difficult, technically, we can skip it.
Если кто-либо из присутствующих хочет сделать небольшой introduction, сказать про себя, просто представиться, представить университет, в котором они работают, и этого достаточно.
All right, then. Let's.
It seems like everyone is feeling high today.
Okay, Monday is difficult to kind of kick off. But no problem. Please feel free to also use the chat throughout the session. Write who you are, where you're coming from, and obviously questions, concerns, thoughts you may have. So, okay, let's start then. So, as we said, and as you heard, we join you from Munich, from Bavaria. We are TUM International. We have been created a couple of decades ago, 2007, as the advisory arm of the Technical University of Munich, with a mandate to basically take the model of TUM internationally when it comes to education programs, research, collaborations, and ways of engaging in different modes of research. And very importantly for us, how do we embed a university into its society and regional context in which it operates? So how do we create impact through education and research by transferring knowledge and technology in the larger society, very much focused on industry-academia partnerships. And TUM, as some of you may know, is one of the most reputable science and technology universities in Europe, also ranked very highly globally. TUM is more than a century old university, has a lot of history, and also evolved over the years in a very, very close collaboration with industry. And as you can see also the quote from the founder of TUM, from the very beginning, TUM has already in its DNA to connect science to the industrial world and to build very close connections, and commercialization, technology, knowledge transfer is really what makes that happen. And TUM, as some of you may also know, and we are very proud of this result, is that TUM has been consistently ranked in the last years as the #1 university in the EU. Also ranked in the top 25, I believe, worldwide. And it's primarily as a result of its transformation, more recently shifting more towards cross-disciplinarity, towards integration of science and business management studies. And as I mentioned, a very systematic effort to drive entrepreneurship, to make sure that education and research benefits the wider society, the industry as well. So we will tell you a little bit how TUM goes about doing that in a minute. TUM, if we think of a university by itself cannot achieve those great high-level impacts. And it's very important for us to also always mention that TUM operates in a very dynamic ecosystem. TUM collaborates very closely with its academic partners, both different types of research institutes, applied research institutes such as Fraunhofer for us, or more basic fundamental research institutes such as Helmholtz, that many of you may know. but also other universities that are located close to TUM, but also through its European and international alliances as well. So that collaboration is really crucial to enable our researchers and academics to do excellent research. And also, of course, our industry network is very important for us. Bavaria itself is one of the most dynamic economic industrial regions in Germany and in Europe. And we collaborate closely not only with the large global companies, but also with a very diverse technology and also sectorally diverse small and medium enterprises. And whenever we engage with our international partners, collaborators, we try to foster those kind of stress the importance and build those linkages with the local industrial economic fabric across sectors, because that's really what reinforces our education programs as well, and make sure that the skills that are being created or supported or developed at TUM are really aligned with the needs of the industry. And then, of course, the startup network is for us very, very important. And Kara will tell you a little bit more about how TUM really instills this entrepreneurial spirit within our students and researchers community, and also how we make sure that the knowledge that is being taught and researched on is really transferred out into the society. We have about more than 70 startups per year by now, which is very high. And that makes Munich one of the most dynamic, if not the most dynamic innovation ecosystem in Europe. Primarily also most of the startups, all of the 70 startups come from TUM, but there is even a larger number of startups that are being created around Munich. And all of this, the academic, the research side, the industry collaborations, of course, the startup entrepreneurship activities are also well aligned and coordinated with the regional and national development strategies. And here it's, the system perspective that we stress as important given our experience. To align education, research, and also technology transfer activities with regional and national development strategies, because we need to also think ahead, short-term, medium, but also long-term developments as well. I will not spend time here, but just to emphasize, why is it? Because you are representing universities, or primarily universities, so why universities are very important for their ecosystem. And in the way we saw TUM and our peer universities in and around Munich contributing to the development of the industry, we wanted to synthesize, why that is very important, the collaboration with industry at different level and this transfer of knowledge. So, it's very important because a strong university with a solid commercialization and knowledge transfer capacity plays a very important role in creating new industries. It's also by the experience and let's say track record it offers, it also encourages other companies that have not been present in the region to co-locate in Munich in our case, because of TUM and the potential knowledge spillovers that companies could benefit of. Also, solid IP policies that builds trust in collaboration with industry. It also supports diversification and innovation, solid systematic technology transfer system enables entrepreneurship, creation of startups, and therefore also contributes to diversification and innovation, something we also see Munich basically reinventing itself with new technology trends emerging, primarily because of its ability to create new startups, spin-offs from forward-looking, future-oriented research happening at universities. And of course, as we see, Munich is an automotive mobility hub for Europe and one of the most dynamic worldwide. And this research-oriented technology knowledge transfer capacity at universities such as TUM also supports leading automotive players, for example, in upgrading their already mature industry, allowing them to discover new niches where they could play an important role. So that's why we stress technology impact, technology transfer impact, orientation, and structuring those processes within the university are very important. TUM, coming back now briefly to TUM International. So given, what you've heard about high level around TUM, we as an advisory arm of TUM, we act at this intersection of science and practice, and we work with our international partners to both, develop new universities, future-oriented new models of universities worldwide, but also work with existing universities to either build up their commercialization strategies, build up their innovation entrepreneurship ecosystem, basically help them get better at their core around their core pillars: education, research, and impact. We also work very closely with the companies such as Siemens or Evonik or Airbus in building technology transfer processes for them and managing, very close collaboration with the university. And we also have various projects around capacity building, talent management for both students, but also university leaders around various topics. We will showcase a few of those projects so that you can get a sense of what we do. Yes, so, long summary here. So our activities, as you will see, they range from, developing future-ready universities all the way to research partnerships. We also have projects with European funding within the European funding programs, but also very focused on a dual system for vocational training, for instance, or capacity building projects, lifelong training programs. I'm just showing you here a few reference projects, and towards the end of our presentation, we will also go through some of these examples so you get a sense of how this whole scope of building academia, industry partnerships, commercialization, entrepreneurship, capabilities can materialize by looking at different projects we have done in the past. So now, a few words about TUM, just so you get a sense of even a more granular sense of who we are. So TUM has also been named German University of Excellence 3 consecutive times. So this is a the excellence strategy in Germany. Perhaps you have something similar in Kazakhstan. If not, it would be also something to consider. But the excellence strategy in Germany has been initiated about a decade ago, aiming to, with the support of national and state level funding, encourage universities to rethink their model of operation to become more competitive globally. And TUM has won a lot of that funding, and it has also gone through a lot, as a result, gone through a very deep transformation that I will tell you in a couple of minutes more about. Rankings are important. I mentioned them before. So yeah, #1 in Germany. I think now we are also #1 in the EU. And I believe now we are number 25 globally. TUM, it's a large university. It has been growing significantly in the last years, and especially in the last 2 decades. We currently, just so you can kind of reference to your own institutions, TUM has now, I believe, even more than 53,000 students, graduate and undergraduate students, spread around several campuses. You'll see in a second. We are organized across 7 schools, and we also, over the history of TUM, TUM is also proud to have won 19 Nobel Prize laureate, to have nurtured, let's say, 19 Nobel Prize laureates. Even more if we consider the Nobel Prize winners at their core partners, Helmholtz and other non-university research institutes that TUM collaborates closely with. As you see, also very deeply involved in research. We are a research-oriented university, so we have a lot of ERC grants, also more than 1,000 research agreements that TUM signs per year, both with industry but also with other institutions. We also have a very diverse international students body. More than, or almost half of our students are coming from abroad, which is great for TUM, also quite diverse for a science and technology university. We are also glad to see that almost 40% of the students are female students, many in this science fields, and also a large number of researchers embedded in different programs. I mean, Kazakhstan is also a large country, so for sure several of your universities also have regional campuses as well. TUM has also decided to spread across the Bavarian region to harness, to also be able to scale and to also take advantage of the regional specialization of Bavaria. So TUM currently has 6 sites or campuses. 5 in Bavaria and another one that is the most recent one in Heilbronn in a different state. The core is in Munich. This is also historically the hub of TUM, the origin of TUM, and right now we have most of the management architecture fields located here, the technology campus, engineering in Garching, and a few other in life sciences in a different location, Freising, Straubing, sustainability, biotechnology, and so on. So you see it's evolving, and here, you know, the locations are also set depending on the industry specialization of the region. So the collaboration with industry there becomes important. And then international partnerships, of course, TUM, to stay competitive, has to have in close engagement with leading and engineering schools. So TUM has created the Eurotech Universities Alliance, which is an alliance with the leading universities technical universities across Europe primarily, but also has offices in different regions. You see in Mumbai, in Beijing, in Brussels, in Sao Paulo, in San Francisco, to be able to engage closer with the potential collaborators in science, but also industry. So that's very important for us. And then I mentioned earlier that TUM has transformed itself in the last decades, and this is something that most universities who desire to stay competitive have to go through, these processes of internal change and transformation. As a result of this excellent strategy and under, let's say, pressure to stay competitive with the peers such as MIT, Stanford, globally, TUM has shifted away from a traditional organization of education and research in departments towards cross-disciplinarity, and therefore has shifted towards a matrix organization of schools. I'll show you in a second, to basically reorganize departments across themes to harness cross-disciplinary synergies between, for example, computer science, engineering, and management, and therefore be able to tackle this most complex technology industry challenges that we currently face, which require, kind of stepping beyond the silos of certain disciplines and looking at the automotive automotive sector, for example, from a mobility perspective, where we think of where social sciences, engineering, IT have to come together into joint research teams, for example. So the matrix model for TUM really looks like this. I hope it's understandable to you. It aims to this system integration. So we have basically structured our departments under 7 schools: life sciences, School of Natural Sciences, computer information and technology, engineering and design. So architecture, design, and engineering came together. A School of Management that is quite distributed across the schools, and also the research fields at TUM have also followed this matrix system integration, have been reorganized such that they can bring together cross-disciplinary teams. So if we look at MIRMI, Munich Institute of Robotics and Machine Intelligence, the way this integrative research center is organized is such that it creates, very tight network of researchers from across disciplines. Of course, a lot from computer and information technology, but also engineering and design and other fields, health and wellness, right? So this reorganization also, of course, became very important for our industry partners and allowed TUM to kind of rethink internally how to tackle certain problems or challenges posed by the labor market and the evolving economy. And we have seen as a result also an increase interest from industry partners to collaborate with TUM, and also, of course, this focus on entrepreneurship startups in the emerging fields has also increased as a result of this transformation. On the entrepreneurship side, and I will let Kara pick up in a second to tell you a little bit more about how we structure internally the collaboration with industry, but also for startup entrepreneurship impact. It suffices right now to say that we launch, a large number of startups between 70, 80, as I mentioned earlier, and that startups benefit from a range of support activities, but also capacity building services that are integrated both within the curriculum of the different programs and schools as, let's say, as mandatory courses, but also a wide range of electives and additional services that students can benefit if they want to start up a company based on the research they do within their chair. Also mentoring and a very strong support network from industry professionals and also technology experts in different areas. Some of those, we have a variety of different platforms out there that support this kind of services and activities, one of which is so-called TUM Venture Labs that covers several topics. And you can see from the topical focus of these venture labs that they enable and make possible these cross-disciplinary teams to come together to tackle certain topics, be it on within the space of additive manufacturing or robotics and AI, with focus on a variety of different industries or sustainability or mobility, as you see it. And this, the network of the venture labs also is extremely important. So we have a lot of companies that are very active in the venture labs, either providing challenges to the startups, mentoring, funding, of course, and able to and interested to support the scale up of these startups or spin-offs from the university. So with that, I will pass the microphone to my colleague Kara to tell you a few words about how technology transfer is organized at TUM. And yeah, as mentioned in the beginning, think about your questions or interests, specific interests, and we are happy to tell you more details and on TUM more generally afterwards.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Georgetta. So as you already heard, there's a very strong innovation ecosystem in Munich that brings together companies, other universities. There's a huge startup ecosystem as well. And one very important factor or one very important aspect for TUM then is to have a strong technology transfer office. And this is on the one hand to protect itself and to benefit also from the technologies that are being created at TUM. And on the other hand, also to support the researchers and students that want to venture out and create a startup, for example. So maybe next, yes. So our technology transfer office is called TUM Forte, and that stands for Forschungsförderung, so research, promotion, and technology transfer. And we have a structure, it's organized under our vice president for research and innovation. And the office itself is organized in 3 departments. One is research support with about 15 people. The other is patents and licenses with about 20 people. And then TUM Entrepreneurship with also about 20 people. So it's quite a big office with almost 60 people that are responsible solely for this technology transfer at our institution. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on their activities. But beyond the activities I'm going to describe, another one is outreach within the university. So making researchers and students aware of the offerings, because of course, having these structures is very valuable, but making sure people know about these is very vital as well. So we have under the research support, before I go. Back one slide. Yes, thank you. So under the research support, we have national and international research support. So this is for funding calls. We have strategic research and commercial cooperation. So this is focusing on collaboration with industry. Under patents and licensing, we can kind of discern between two things. One is research and commercial cooperations. So what happens to IP if you are working together on a research project, maybe with industry, maybe also with another institution, maybe due to a startup. And then the other side is commercialization. So looking at licensing agreements, for example, if a company wants to use a technology that was created in one of the TUM labs to create a startup. And then on the last point, we have TUM Entrepreneurship. So as Georgetta said in the previous slide, we have these venture labs, which support startups in specific fields. But one step before that is TUM Startup Consulting. So maybe you're a student or a researcher and you have an idea and you're not sure, what can you do with this? What are the opportunities for you to maybe create a venture? You can go and ask and get advice on this topic from the TUM Entrepreneurship support. All right, next slide. Perfect. So on the national research funding support, as you can imagine, it's mainly consultancy for researchers at TUM on what research calls are available. So researchers can go, they can get advice. There's access to a database of different research calls that might be interesting for them. There's collaboration also with the TUM Board of Management. And they offer financial support called the TUM Seed Fund. And this is basically for researchers to get funding while investing time and energy into writing these research calls before they've received the funding. Next slide is the international research funding. So this is very similar. This is based, of course, on the same structure. There's tailored advice, there's consultancy for researchers within TUM, but now on an international funding basis. So again, there's a database, there's support on how to write these funding calls. There's also proofreading, there's workshops offered to researchers at TUM so that they can have the biggest success when applying for these international funding calls. And again, we offer the seed fund to researchers to apply internally if they need funding to take time and work on an international funding or national funding call. One other offering we have is the TUM Talent Factory, and this goes to the point I mentioned earlier about the awareness. So a lot of what our technology transfer office does is offer support to our researchers, guiding them on how can they be a successful researcher, how can they find funding calls, how can they prepare themselves best to be a successful researcher. And one big aspect of this is the Talent Factory, which is offered specifically for the postdocs at TUM. Looking at research and commercial cooperations, we have an industry liaison office. And so they're the first point of contact for industry partners. So if an industry member is interested in doing research with TUM, of course, they can approach the researcher directly. But if they're not sure who they want to speak to, who maybe is the best contact person, this is a central institution that they can reach out to that will support them in identifying and matchmaking in both directions. So a researcher can approach the liaison. Yes? Is there maybe a question? No? Okay. So the researchers can approach the liaison office to get advice on what industry partners may be interesting, but more often than not, it's the other way around, that industry partners approach the TUM liaison office. They can support and assistance, creation of synergies, so also in the sense of having workshops to meet each other, contact and involvement of other services. So perhaps the legal office is necessary in order to create a successful partnership. Perhaps other schools or other infrastructure at TUM needs to be involved. So this is really the central institution where industry can get advice on how to approach the topic of working together with TUM successfully. Back to the topic of awareness, we have a lot of brochures on our website, a lot of contract templates, and this is just one example. We have a brochure for research and commercial cooperations, which outlines for both the researchers and for external members what are the general things that TUM can offer. Is it a research and development contract where you work together? Is it a contract research where industry pays TUM to do research? And these general structures are outlined so that everybody can kind of get an idea of what is possible. And of course, there's opportunities to do things more specific to one project or another, but all the general offerings of our technology transfer office are shared online. So we work together a lot with industry, and also through our excellent strategy and through this development, we've developed an industry engagement program. And so on the left, you see project partnerships. So this is maybe if you have one research partnership with an industry somewhere at TUM, and they're working together on a project, that's just fine in and of itself. But with some industry partners, more and more collaborations emerge over time. And so in that case, it makes more sense to have a strategic partnership. And so then eventually the company has a key account manager. They're not just working on individual topics. They also have a framework agreement, so you don't have to constantly create new contracts, but you can have one larger agreement and then just create one-pagers for new projects. So it makes the collaboration much more easy for both the industry and the university, and allows them to collaborate more quickly without waiting for the whole legal process to complete, and also to be able to have a key account manager. So from the perspective of the company, it's one person that you approach at the university centrally that can give you all of the information that you need. And we wanted to also share with you one counter example. So at TUM, our technology transfer office is an internal central institution. And one of the other large technical universities in Germany is RWTH Aachen. And Aachen has a model where their technology transfer office is an external institution. So they founded an external company called RWTH Innovation GmbH that is responsible for the industry engagement and for the technology transfer. And in their case, instead of having an internal key account manager, they have an external key account model. And they then coordinate with the university internally with the third-party funding, for example, and with other institutions internally. And having an external company really offers a little bit more flexibility. But of course, you have to then work with more parties rather than just one. And at TUM, we've really consolidated this process under the Vice President for Research and Innovation. And so it's kind of a one-stop engagement model. And like I just said, the core functions of our technology transfer is the matchmaking between the industry partners and the researchers. We support by doing workshops in order to kind of explore what possibilities there are. We have newsletters. We have a lot of information available on our website regarding our models of contracts and also licensing agreements. We have different events that we invite the industry partners to. And then, of course, the TUM IP, that's always a very important aspect as well. In Aachen, it's again, there's centralized coordination. So via the external company, the industry partners can get access to different activities. There's a support again on navigating the university, similar to what we have at TUM. And then there's an interface between the universities. So this external company acts to find the correct internal university partners. And similar to us, they also have networking events which bring together the industry partners and the researchers. So with that, I think we've gone through our overview of the technology transfer offices, both at TUM and in Aachen. And if there's no questions at this point, maybe we jump into some examples of our projects. Perfect. Then maybe I'll just start with this is the map that Georgetta shared at the very beginning, and we wanted to give you maybe a few examples on how we as TUM International act as a bridge between the TUM and the TUM structures, and of course other institutions. And I'll start at the top left with Siemens. And in Munich, Siemens has quite a lot of research activity with TUM, but their interest was to engage on a more innovative way and to also engage with other ecosystem partners. And so we work very closely with Siemens to bring them closer, not only to TUM, but to the startups and to the other institutions in Munich. And our role here is really to create innovative formats, so conferences, different workshop formats, different mentoring programs, to bring together these ecosystem partners to result in research collaborations and to be able to then take a step into this technology transfer. But our role is really bringing together the people and enabling this exchange. So that's one example of a project. Georgetta, maybe you would like to continue?
Yeah, I'll tell you about another project perhaps before. We would also love to hear from you if you have ideas as you hear examples from our environment, whether you have such strong industry partners like we have Siemens, and whether you have built you have already implemented different formats for basically leveraging the interest and the capacity at your university with the industry partner. We would want to hear from such examples, or maybe also explore together how those connections could be further strengthened. So I mentioned earlier that one of the activities that we also actively engage with is capacity building at different levels. So in that scope of work, we have for example, an upcoming professional training programs for university leaders with a focus on how to lead an entrepreneurial university. And the focus of that upcoming professional training program that happens in July, now mid-July, 14th to 18th of July in Munich, is to speak exactly about and to build that capacity for university executives, rectors, presidents, deans, heads of units on how to integrate such entrepreneurship-related activities within the DNA and the strategy of a university, how to lead the university towards stronger entrepreneurship impact, and how to enable scientists, students, and also the heads of different units to achieve higher commercialization, technology transfer impact from a strategic point of view. For those of you who are interested, we would be happy to send you more details on this upcoming program. If you see here the QR code, you can click on it and you will see the detailed program. And next week, actually on the 26th of June, this week, on Thursday, we have an information session on the program if you would want to learn a little bit more. So I believe we will also share the slides with you, and then you can access those details as well. The next project we wanted to share with you is a project we currently have in Armenia. It's about a higher education reform of the Armenian public higher education institutions. And here our role is to guide the Ministry of Education in the process of merging three universities and also consolidating science institutes linked with the technology area. There, of course, the focus is also on how to develop cross-disciplinary links, cross-institutional collaborations, and also how to build an innovation ecosystem around universities, how to link research and education programs to the needs of the industry in this process of transformation. So this is more of a, education system reform that we are guiding the ministry with our experience in TUM and the German education reform. I'll pass the microphone back to Kara to tell a few words about our project in Uzbekistan.
Yes, thank you. So our collaboration with the New Uzbekistan University actually precedes the existence of the New Uzbekistan University. So this is a greenfield university that was founded, I think, 5 years ago now. And we've been working together with them since the conception phase, all the way now through having the first graduating class. And we've guided them initially from the concept all the way through developing the different degree programs, through conceptualizing a technology transfer office as well as career center. And now we are moving towards also the topic of a university medical center. So really diverse topics through kind of the development journey of a new university, which has been quite interesting. Then perhaps I'll continue. One example of what we also do is workshops. And so Sultan Qaboos University is in Oman, and we were invited to come for a 2-day deep dive workshop session on how to integrate entrepreneurial practices or entrepreneurial teaching within non-business degrees. So for example, how do you integrate entrepreneurship into a biology program so that you can make sure to also foster the technologies and the innovations that are not just that are occurring in the sciences. And this was quite a nice 2-day session. And that's something that we could also imagine, of course, in relation to technology transfer and other topics as well. The higher colleges of technology are in the UAE, and this is a project we're working on for the past half a year now. And the higher colleges of technology are very large colleges spread across the whole country, and they have a lot of very small labs that are focusing only on teaching. And we are working together with them on how they can become more research focused. And how can we restructure the labs that exist now in order to also foster research and innovation? And this, of course, involves the development of a technology transfer office. This involves a restructuring not only of the labs, but also rethinking on behalf of the faculty and staff. And so we've been working at the moment on a concept and then going into the implementation of this in the coming months. Perhaps, Georgetta, do you want to continue?
Okay. Yeah, so another project that may be relevant for you is a collaboration we have in Serbia with the Ministry of Science and Technological Development and Innovation, where we work with different universities around or within Serbia, and also with science and innovation parks, to build the capacity of innovation entrepreneurship trainers. So one of the challenges that perhaps some of your institutions also have is that when you commit to becoming more entrepreneurial or building entrepreneurship capacity, and you want to see more startups emerging, if those activities were limited initially, one lacks a lot of know-how and training capacity within existing faculty and also mentors who could support students and scientists to initiate startups. So Kara made reference earlier to our TUM Entrepreneurship, for instance, that one of those 3 units within our technology transfer office that plays a role of really building awareness, but also guiding potential future entrepreneurs within the university community to do more. So what we do in Serbia with the different universities is to develop a curriculum for trainers, train the trainer type of support for innovation entrepreneurship experts within the universities who can then take up those roles and guide student scientists on their entrepreneurship journey. And then the last project we wanted to showcase, you want to explain it, Kara? Back to you.
So the last project we've brought with us today is Accelerate Future. And this is a Horizon funded EU project with 9 universities distributed across Europe, smaller universities. And in this project, our role is to support the university partners in monitoring and evaluating their innovation and entrepreneurship projects. And so the universities all have the goal of becoming more entrepreneurial, becoming more innovative, but actually monitoring this process in order to see what the outcomes are and to see how to maybe redesign the structures so that they can be more successful is not always an easy topic. And that is where we are guiding the partner universities through a monitoring and evaluation toolkit that we developed, but also through targeted innovation and impact workshops in order to make sure that their goals in regards to innovation and entrepreneurship are being reached. And I think we've shown a diverse spectrum of projects, but the core, I think, of all of them is that one shoe doesn't fit everybody. So we really go into every project and first try to understand the regional context, the context of the partner of the university, in order to create a project and a solution that works in that context.
Great. And with that, I think we are really coming to an end. We mentioned already our upcoming Leading the Entrepreneurial University Summer Leadership Institute. Feel free to look for more details on it. And also reach out if you have any questions or join the upcoming information session. As a wrap up, we really, as Kara said, the needs and the specific context of every institution is very, very specific. And our projects, therefore, are also, and partnerships are also very diverse. If we were to summarize them in, a few topical areas, we would say, one of the core focus areas for us and where we engage with our partners very closely to help them get one step ahead is on entrepreneurship ecosystem activation and acceleration. And this itself comes in very different forms. Capacity building for leaders, for trainers, for teaching, research, administrative staff, in order to be able to also implement, once you have a strategy for technology transfer, for example, the implementation. Developing a strategy is important, but then it's also important to have the capacity to implement and roll out the different programs. So that's where we oftentimes also come into support roles. building the strategic academia industry partnerships for stronger impact, technology, knowledge transfer, entrepreneurship acceleration is also that we have done bilaterally with different industry partners, TUM and Siemens, the project that Kara referred to, but also with a larger set of industry players in Uzbekistan or in other contexts, industry advisory councils, and how to make sure that they engage in a fruitful way with a university in teaching, research, and innovation. And then also, this understanding, customization of the technology transfer activities is very important because of this diversity out there, very specific needs. So really understanding what the needs of each institution are and what kind of model of technology transfer and entrepreneurship support may be needed, and how to develop an action plan. And if we look at technology transfer models, many of them at the core, they're very similar, as the TUM and RWTH Aachen showed. So the core of the activities and support offered is quite similar, but the way they are set up differs, and in the end the differences come a lot in the granularity of the implementation, how those teams work and what kind of services are being offered, very much depending also on the industry that the university tends to engage with. So we wrap up here. We already took about an hour of your time. I think we still have some time for discussion. So happy to get to know you and also your thoughts, concerns, and also the stage at which your institutions or units are when it comes to commercialization, entrepreneurship, technology transfer. Any questions you may have, please raise them now. And of course also,
thank you, Georgita and Kara, for the presentation. Yeah, thank you for sharing your contacts. I think we can start with a couple of questions from the chat that we have already. The first question is from Sabina Baytemirova. She's asking, how could a startup from Kazakhstan apply for R&D collaboration and maybe for venture capital funding? Is there maybe some kind of application form that you have?
We do have venture funding in Munich and also tied to the university. Whether they're very specific to startups that are here in the ecosystem, we would have to double check, but there are venture funding opportunities for startups. Regarding R&D collaborations for startups with the university, that would really depend on the specific topic, I would say. And that would be direct collaboration then with whatever professor department is relevant for the startup in that case.
So the best way to go about it will be then just to make your research to find the most relevant professor, maybe department, and then discuss the collaboration opportunity with them directly, right?
That would be my stance, Jetty, unless you have a...
Yeah, no, nothing else to add. I mean, if it is a specific startup you have in mind that would want to get additional knowledge in a particular area and develop their idea or product further, indeed, I mean, that would be the way described by Kara would be what would be necessary. If you are, or startups at a university or even a particular startup may be interested to connect to our innovation ecosystem, there are also various platforms or programs that we could recommend, or one could develop specific collaborations or partnerships with your institution. For example, we have a model of digital product school, it's called. It's a format for those who develop digital products for specific industries where challenges are given by industry or public sector to develop early stage ideas that could then be scaled up. So this is more focused for entrepreneurs or creative professionals from around the world that may want to apply to such a program. It can be customized to the specific needs, or one could take on the standard model of DPS that is offered here in Munich.
Okay,
so
yeah.
It very much depends on the specific needs.
Okay, yeah, sure. Thank you. And the second question is from Talgat Kilabayev, asking, do Kazakhstani universities need to pay to get some support and assistance from TUM to prepare and apply for projects like Horizon Europe and maybe projects from DAAD? And is there like opportunity for TUM to be a partner university when applying for projects like that?
Yes, it's definitely possible. We do have collaborations with universities abroad in both DAAD type of projects, Erasmus Plus, especially capacity building, the capacity building stream, but also Horizon Plus, Horizon Europe project. So if you have a specific idea in mind, we would suggest reaching out to us, and then we can see if and how it fits to our own kind of community.
Yeah, so they can message you directly, right? Some other schools. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Maybe do we have any other questions?
Feel free to also even if you don't have a specific question, share with us where you are on your journey with technology, building a technology transfer or institutionalizing technology transfer in your institution, and what do you find to be the strongest challenges in the process. We would love to get to know you better.
You'll have a question from Thomas.
I have one question.
Please.
Well, could you see me? No?
We can hear you. We cannot see you.
One moment. This problem. Okay.
Now we can see you. Yes.
Hello, colleagues. My name is Jumat Kargin. I'm represented Eurasian National University. It's Astana, capital of Kazakhstan. So you know that Eurasian National University is the biggest universities, one of the biggest universities of Kazakhstan. So as I understood, you have represented here Technical University of Munich, yeah? Okay, so as I understood from another side, TUM is one of the branches of that university, yes?
TUM International is a daughter entity of the Technical University of Munich.
This is a branch, daughter entity, okay. So your responsibility is basically it's research, R&D, and commercialization of that results, yes?
It's advising on how to develop education programs, how to develop commercialization, industry engagement programs.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
I see. So in that case, when commonly for us, every year we have to make some of the report what we made for the previous period of time. So in that case, what your criteria for your job? How you can make your report? Just how many universities we have collaborated, and how many guides you have did for them, or maybe, for example, from us, first of all, we need to show how many money we made by commercialization. Is it possible? Is it common for you or not?
So for TUM itself, for the Technical University of Munich, they do have a range of KPIs that around education, research, industry partnerships that they have evolved. For us, since we are the daughter entity of TUM that has an advisory role, for us, it's important to look at the impact of our partners. So for our success is defined by how successful our partners have been in rolling out the type of programs we have collaborated with. So, for example, in the case of the Accelerate Future High, which is a Horizon project with the various members, we've developed this monitoring and evaluation methodology. Our success in that project is to see the 9 universities really embedding, using the monitoring and evaluation methodology, and also seeing that they have reached the impacts that they have initially set in their outcomes. So yeah, I hope this answers.
Okay. It's a little bit similar, yeah. Okay, so in that case, thank you very much for your sharing your results, your experience with us, because for us, the process of commercialization, of doing money by knowledge is very big problems. I hope your experience will help us to understand, maybe to make easy our activity to achieve our goals. But I want to get some of the advice for you. For example, I know that you have to know that Kazakhstan has one of the good programs, international programs, which called Bolosha. I have twice used that possibility, and during 1 year I passed my internship, scientific internship on the basis Cavendish Laboratory on the Cambridge University in the UK. So but I couldn't find when I looking for what the international scientific centers which have good experience in commercialization area, I couldn't find. Therefore, my advice for you, is it possible for you make some of the first steps toward to our country? Because your experience is very interesting for us, because I think our administration, Ayjan, Jiximba, the responsibility for the commercialization, first of all, to send our representatives, our scientists to learn your experience during, not for a very short time, for example, like today's seminars, but for the 1 year as minimum. This is, for us, it will get more efficiencies. Therefore, my advice for you, maybe you will send your proposals to us, that you are open for share your experience with our administration, with our universities. For example, in that case, I will try to get this possibility on your basis and pass my future internship on your basis, because I never been in Munich I have been in Germany, but not never been in Munich. So it's my advice for you, and maybe our science of fund of science of fund could be support this idea, and thank you very much for very interesting your presentation. So I work in past as a director of the Department of Commercialization in our university, but I know that this job this activity is very, very hard and very difficult, and we need to try to learn other universities who has good experience, like Munich, like TUM. So thank you very much for your activity, for your sharing your ideas. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And welcome to Kazakhstan, because as I have seen that you have good experience with, for example, our neighbors in Uzbekistan. So, for example, you can open your branch or duty on our university basis. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you and a pleasure meeting you. Thank you for your thoughts and suggestions. So, yeah, I mean, that's also the purpose of today's meeting is, our first step towards engaging with you all. And we would love to learn more and also collaborate more with you and others. And such programs of capacity building and also kind of peer exchange would be also for us very interesting. So we can imagine such longer term programs could be such programs could be implemented perhaps with some sessions online happening online, sessions happening here on site, and perhaps also on your premises as well, because it's very important for you to see how things work here, and also for our experts to understand what are the specific institutional challenges that your institution and other face. So if you also see, and with the Science Fund, opportunities for building such a partnership to specifically learn from the experience here, because at TUM also this has evolved over time. So there is a lot of learning that is embedded into the way we do things now. But if you also speak to our Vice President for Research and Innovation, he would also say that they are continuously learning and always looking to adapt their system and the way they do things as the situation evolves. So also, kind of teaching or sharing those learning processes that leaders and heads of departments as yourselves that one has to kind of go through to reach the most optimal way of structuring such processes at a particular time, and also be responsive to what may need to change in the next 5 years. That's also very important. Something that is also embedded, which we didn't mention within our technology transfer office, is a team that is specifically focusing on strategic foresight. So that team of industry and also technology experts are there to always scout and keep an eye on how the markets and the technology may evolve, and how those upcoming changes may impact, the way the whole office is managed, how they engage with industry, and also how, what research should be supported. So, this constant learning. And for you to kind of experience that, I think indeed it would be important to build those kind of, let's say, long-term partnership with you coming here, us going there, having some learning sessions online over a longer period of time. So we are open for those.
Okay, thank you. It's a good idea. By the way, I couldn't find the cost of for participation of that conference, which you announced.
Yeah.
16 July.
18th of July. The cost right now is $5,000 per person, but there are various discounts available for groups, and so reach out to us.
500.
5,000.
5,000.
5,000. But there are, several discounts available. So reach out if you have, if you are interested.
Sorry. Okay. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, thank you for your presentation. I believe if there are no more questions, we can wrap this up. Once again, thank you, very informative and comprehensive presentation. Thank you for taking your time to bridge this gap, to explore opportunities for potential collaboration. Presentation materials and your contact information, as well as this Zoom recording, will be shared with participants. I'm sure that, if anyone is interested in further communication, in further collaboration, they will contact you. And yeah, once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your knowledge.
Thank you so much to all of you who participated, and also to the Science Fund for facilitating this meeting.
Yeah, thank you for all the participants for participating, and goodbye.
Bye-bye.